Welcome on back to another episode of Trap Door to Hell, the reboot. So just adjusting the mic a little bit. Nope, that wasn't good. Now I'm fucking. I literally said this at the end of the last episode. Like, I'm sorry I had to fuck with the mic. And I started this, thought I was all good set up. And then as soon as I start and I get fucking into that, apparently it's not set up. So I hope I didn't blow out your ears on adjusting the microphone. I can't exactly afford the most expensive stuff to make sure things are good. So I apologize till the days come, till the cows come home. But we're here, we're ready to rock. It is Friday, September 30th. We are heading into October, the Halloween month. Um, fantastic stuff. It's great to be back with you guys. I was gonna do this before the show, but I'll do this now since I'm on air. Being a little loose, a little loosey goosey. So gonna have a drink, have beer, and we're gonna fucking rock and roll here. So tasty. One of the things I wanted to talk about this week, especially just starting the episode. I can do my plugs and all that shit, but I feel like this takes place first. My stomach has been an absolute mess, to say the least. Um, those of you who know me know I don't have the best diet, of course. I really don't. I wish I did. I don't find most vegetables appealing. Uh, I don't hardly eat fruit. I know that's like depending is if you're gonna fucking some people get into it and be like, fruit's not even fucking good for you. It's so high in sugar and blah, blah. I'm just speaking from a regular ass dude sense. And besides eating gas station taquitos, fruit is a better option. Not like the people who are on diets and sugar watching, counting, and carb counting and all that shit. But my stomach's been a mess. I could not even eat dinner tonight because I'm in such pain with my stomach. It's absolutely insane. I would love to. I was gonna try and break down every single meal I had for the past. That's really breaking me down. But I forgot most of it, like usual. But let's just say it's not been great for a little bit. And then, like, I noticed usually when my stomach kind of takes a turn and I'm like, I'm messed up, like, I'm pretty liquid for the past, let's say, couple of days. Maybe we should take a second to just adjust my stuff, right? So I had like a take home pizza, like a fucking $5 from the grocery store, just oven pizza. I and then uh and then the next day I forget what I had during the day, but it was something that was not great either. And then came home and I'm like, I gotta start taking it easy on shit, get better at what I'm doing here. And then we had spaghetti for dinner, and of course I dumped red chili flakes. I had that's right. I had chicken strips for lunch, just chicken strips, no side, just chicken strips, 8 of them, and then I didn't even have that for lunch. I was gonna take it easy, and then I had it like 2 o'clock, and then dinner time comes around about 5, 6 or whatever, and spaghetti. So I'm dumping chili flakes into it and shit. I go, you know what? I've got to get my shit under control. I got my stomach is so bad. I've already been fucking liquid for a couple of days. Let me fucking change it. So the next day I wake up and I'm like, I'm not gonna eat because when I need to hard reset my body, because I'll get into a space where I'm eating I'll get into a space where I'm eating too much food in short intervals. Like I'm starving by the time it's 10 o'clock in the afternoon, or in the morning, I guess. But 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm eating a big lunch. I get off, I get home, I need to eat. basically what is a meal for most people as a snack. And then a couple hours later, I'm having a full dinner. And then before I'm going to bed, I'm having a big snack as well. So what I'll do is I'll reset my body and just take like a whole day off. Really. And but so I was gonna do that next day because I felt like I was gonna be sick when I went to bed. Um And then I woke up, we went to work, went to a job site, found out what the scope was gonna be for that day, found out we had to go to Home Depot. And as I'm walking around Home Depot, I'm like, you know what? I'm starving right now. Let me just grab a chorizo breakfast burrito from the restaurant or little truck that's right there at Home Depot. And I smacked that down. Smacked that down. I'm like, all right, well, you kind of fucked up that. Let's try and get dinner right at least, and come home and forgot to take out like a ground beef or something for dinner. So it's just like, what are we gonna have? And then it comes down to like, oh well, we have a couple cans of chili and some potatoes, so let's make chili cheese baked potatoes. So I have chili cheese baked potatoes with hot sauce in it, and I get to work this morning, and man, I'm telling you, it was lucky that I literally go to a job site and I'm waiting on inspectors to show up to do a final inspection, and there wasn't much going on because my stomach was not having it. It was basically saying, no, Travis, you've pushed the line too hard. You've pushed the line. And we got out of there early. The inspector showed up later than we thought. By the time we were going to go to another job site, it was going to be too late. So get out of there a little early. So, but like I was feeling these stomach pains and I was like hunched over at times. So and this is all today. So, ever since I got home today, I've been in the shitter maybe 5 or 6 times, I mean, pouring out of me. It's like my butthole feels like when you forget to take out rotten milk and you're pouring it through and you see the chunks coming through the lid of the milk. That's what my butthole is right now. So, and I guess, I'm having a couple of drinks. I'm not having much. I'm not trying to get all fucking toasty on here. I just want to get a little loose and feel good for the people out there. So maybe that won't help. I did not eat dinner. So, maybe it will help just not having that bad food in my diet. Maybe it will. Last week, great episode. Appreciate all the feedback on that stuff. Very fantastic. Um, we did last week or last episode, the horror franchise thing based on the movie Pearl coming out and stuff. That's kind of what got jogged my memory, or jogged my ideas to do that, was because the idea of Pearl coming out and them announcing a sequel to the original, which Pearl was a prequel. If you didn't listen, go back and listen. I explained it a little bit, but I went and saw it, so I'd love to talk about it a little bit on here. Those of you who watched X know that, and I've talked about it last week, that takes place in the 70s, and has that 70s grindhouse slasher kind of vibe for it, but more modern. It was a good horror film, and then Pearl is released as the prequel to it. And going into the movie, I had some expectations. I had listened to some reviews and things like that, but I didn't really have an idea of exactly what I mean, I had an idea and expectation of what I was going to get, but going there and seeing it truly went beyond my expectations. Now, I don't think Pearl is for everybody. Um, like your average moviegoer is not going to look at Pearl and see a lot that I'm going to, you know, push and say that it's fantastic about. They might think of those things as kind of lame and they don't really fit the horror genre or what have you, but I think they did a fantastic job. And what I like a lot is I felt like I feel like if you want to look at, and this goes for like the late 2000s, 2010s, and also the 80s and the early 90s have this. And I think it's a like a roller coaster that goes through the movie industry that they do this, where we get a bunch of directors at one time who come not after like to chase them, but like they come directly after these other directors who really have an appreciation for cinema and have a true vision for what they want the film to be. This takes place in, I want to say the 1910s or 20s or something like that. And what's phenomenal about it is they take a truly scary character, like if you think about it mentally, and they place them in this bright time where the movie, at the same time of being super suspenseful and scary, not like jump scary, but like people who watch Midsummer will understand, who like Midsummer will understand this, but like that existential look inside yourself and understand the complexity of the human brain and what's going on, and at any moment things could flip. It's a great job. They did a really good job. And it's placed in this type of movie that evokes the feeling of watching Wizard of Oz or Sound of Music, or anything from those old, just early color movies. I loved it a lot. I really liked it. I liked it more than the original, which was X. It was very well done. And Mia Goth, who plays in both, of course, she delivers what is, man, the I don't think this is completely accurate. I'm just kind of talking on the run here, but a personable, like a personality role that I would say in that genre rivals Christian Bale in Psycho. Now, you might think like you might watch this and go completely different movies. I don't understand how they correlate, but the emotion that character brings out of you, I think has a very similar tone and taste to it. And you're not for once, you don't have to put yourself in a suspension of disbelief. It just works. You're completely drawn into this world that this exists from the beginning to the very end. And there's a super long cut towards the end of the movie where and it's a long cut in the sense that it's a dialogue. It's just a dialogue. It's not like a long cut like 1917 is fantastic for only having, I think, 3 cuts in the movie or something like that, where they just have a tracking camera. A lot of this is stationary at a table, but to kind of be able to repeat that dialogue and deliver it at such a high level. I think I got the best. I think I got the best kind of review, you would say, or after me and Laura saw it, of Laura talking to me, because so she loves horror films in the sense that like the Chucky's and Friday the 13th and stuff like that, they get her blood pumping a little bit, but it doesn't scare her. It actually makes her laugh and shit, and it's goofy. And even real horror movies like The Conjuring and stuff like that, she likes that. She likes that a lot. What she doesn't like, and I'll say this is a good example, is well, is like anxiety driven films. And I'll give this as a good example. I went to go show her Uncut Gems. And Uncut Gems, and this is super decisive. So if you don't like Uncut Gems, maybe you won't like this movie. Who's to say? It's hard for me to put myself in the mindset of somebody who doesn't appreciate these films, but what have you. I went to go show her Uncut Gems, and she basically forced to be turn a movie off because the anxiety or the dread that builds up throughout is too personal, right? Not she's not like a fucking avid gambler, or she's not a psychopath who's gonna kill anybody, but like when they bring these roles to a very real place and the anxiety that surrounds these characters is very real, or dread, or what have you, it truly gets to her. So we came out of the movie and we're talking about it a little bit, and she goes, I just don't know. I think it was good, but I don't know if I can ever watch this again because there was so much uncomfortability in the film. Not verbatim. This is, but uncomfortability was a word that stuck out to me when she had mentioned that. And I think that's in credit to the story, and the way they portrayed it, and Mia Goth, number one and overall on this. So I can't wait for Maxine to roll out. That will be. This is going to be a true. I like this because Ty West, who directed and wrote these with Mia Goth, um, has a very good vision for what these films are, and wants to see them play out in different eras and elicit that response of that era of movie as well. And I think it's a super interesting thing to do because we've seen like movies take place over, multiple years, but not really change tone or change uh like directorial like ways. So fantastic. I mean, I can't say enough about Pearl. I like the movie. I haven't ranked it yet. For those of you who are gonna go to the movie rankings, I'm looking to get that in. I also have Father Stew to put in to the movie rankings database. And if you guys are looking for that still without those, I think I should probably get them in tomorrow or Sunday. I'll put them in. I got to give it a true score. But that is in the pin tweet on Twitter. That is in the about section on both YouTube and Facebook. And every time I post these, whether it's on YouTube or on wherever you get the audio version of this podcast, it's there to in the description, or in the description of the podcast, the link's right there, so you can go and check out the movies that I've ranked and all that fun stuff that you normally hear about me. um Go out to the movies and see some stuff, man. We're in a really good time here. So we're like, we've just passed a point where there's a point, especially with movie releases, where it's like early summer blockbuster, and then the stuff that was going to be released for the summer but didn't want to fight against a Marvel movie or a Despicable Me or whatever is released, and there's a lull, and we just passed that lull. We're getting good things back in theater. The Woman King is out, and I heard really good things about that. So that's a fantastic thing to go and see. On the other hand, if we're gonna switch to TV a little bit, because Marvel, Star Wars, that's all Trap Door to Hell. We'll talk about that till the cows come home. And so we're in the middle of um She-Hulk that's out now, and She-Hulk is uh, uh I like She-Hulk. It is a different look into it's a different vibe of a Marvel franchise for sure, and that's what I think they're doing with these with these shows is taking some chances on shit. And I think She-Hulk is a great character too because of the way the comics are written. Honestly, more of like a Deadpool kind of vibe where it's third wall breaking, it's self-aware and things like that. But I really like what they've done with this with She-Hulk and dealing with, I mean, this is has I'll I'll say this, like, it and people may what I've seen online is some people thinking that the shit in this show is kind of forced. Like it's a woman-centric show and it deals with the plight of women in today's society, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's different, and if you want to see Marvel as this, Captain America, Iron Man, one lane kind of shit, then you're honestly going to be disappointed by it. But I think this is, pays a lot of good homage to what the comic books were, and it tells a story, man. I don't think they've essentially laid out the story 100% of how they could have, but it does do a good job at bringing across the issues that you want to see. We're coming in a place now, and I think the MCU is doing. This is a strange thought, and just stay with me here. I think what their phases, or what do they call their sagas, are kind of mimicking what you would think of if you were to think of like the current world. You know what I'm saying? Like that first one is glory and great, and superheroes are awesome, and there's fighting and bad guys and good guys, and it seems pretty cut and dry, and there's people to root for, and there's people that you don't want to. And then as we're getting into this next one, the lines are getting blurred, and people of women, and we've got now, I think once we get into Blade and Black Panther becoming real, and minorities and all that thing, Sam Wilson deals with it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Captain America Falcon I forget what the name of the title. I think it's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But and all that dirty, dark stuff that our history as America really revolves around. And I think it does a good job of, I think they do a really good job of bringing those things in a timely manner, and not trying to, I mean, sometimes things feel a little forced, I'm not going to lie, but they're doing a good job of breeding this stuff into the cinematic universe, because I think it's a very important thing. And as as a nation, as w- a a class of people watching, like, it's good to have that. I really think so. Comic books were one of the first sci-fi comic books and stuff like that, were always on the kind of cutting edge of going outside of the box and making people think without thinking. So, to the people who kind of are like, this is stupid and this doesn't make it, like, you have to take a step back and look at it from the people that it's trying to reach. It's like going to watch Alvin and the Chipmunks and critically knocking that because they don't speak to you as a 45-year-old white male or whatever. Like, I hate to see him sound preachy, because that's not my thing, but I think it falls under the same category. Now, I like She-Hulk. I think it does a good job. I think it does a good job of towing the line. Now on the other, before I get into Andor, one of the biggest news drops that I'm fucking very excited about. Very, 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 very excited about is that just a couple of days ago, Ryan Reynolds and the Deadpool people made the announcement that Deadpool 3 is going to be going to bring back one of our favorite characters in Wolverine, at Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, which is phenomenal to hear. Phenomenal. Like, I love this. One, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are friends. They already have a uh what do you call that? Like a chemistry thing. Chemistry. They have a chemistry together. So we know that that's not going to be an issue. And now becomes the speculation game. What is Deadpool 3 going to entail? And what I found interesting that was said was Wolverine's healing abilities give him the ability to, I hate double on words like that, but give him the ability to remember things from a jumped timeline sort of thing. And where we left Deadpool 2 was that he was cleaning up the timelines, jumping around, doing fucked up shit. Very funny. Like he shot his X-Men Origins Wolverine version of himself. I think that was the movie. Yeah, you guys all know what I'm talking about. The bad Deadpool, where they put swords on his hands and they sewed his mouth shut, and just bad. And he talked shit about it multiple times, and he cleaned it up, and so he's jumping around timelines with what's his name? It's right there. It's right there, buddy. Cable, with Cable's time watch, or whatever you want to call it. So essentially, what we could see is a point where Deadpool has caught himself in a different universe, a different timeline, a branched out timeline, and he goes to his good old buddy Wolverine in whatever universe he is in, played by Hugh Jackman, and he's using him to basically time hop and find his way back to whatever reality he's seeking. Maybe would be super interesting. I would love, excuse me, for them to jump to a place where this Wolverine is wearing a comic book accurate Wolverine suit. I was gonna say costume, suit. That would be fantastic. Hugh Jackman has always showed interest in this the whole time he was. It was one of the interesting things because I was reading up on it and I didn't know that the overall I don't know if it was the director of most of these X-Men, the old X-Men movies, or the producer, or what have you. Kevin Feige was there as like an advisor at that time, but the people who were in charge of that had like banned having the comic books on site. I guess they had a vision and they wanted to put it out a certain way, and they didn't want ideas from other people dipping into comic books and being like, well, this doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense, which is frustrating for us fans of comic books, but it is what it is. But at the time, I guess Hugh Jackman would sneak away and read Wolverine comic books with Kevin Feige in the office, or in his office, or something like that is what I read. So super interesting. Uh he obviously has I think he's the shining point. They've already brought back Patrick Stewart as Professor X in the 838 universe that's explored in Multiverse of Madness. They've had um uh what's his name? James McAvoy. I think that's his name. Yeah, yeah. Split guy who played the young Xavier, who appeared in the Young Beast and stuff, who appeared in Deadpool as kind of side shit as just like cutaway scenes to make jokes. So I mean, I'm very interested to see how this ties in. They've said for certain this is going to be tied into the MCU. They're not going to kind of block that and trying to make this weird way about it. Kind of what they're doing with Daredevil, if you guys don't know. They casted Charlie Cox, who's the same character as the Netflix Daredevil series. And but they're doing a new Daredevil series on Disney Plus, but it's not a continuation of the Netflix one. It is a uh reboot of it. So I think what they're gonna do with Wolverine is different. I think they're gonna include all that other shit that we know about him, or at least make jokes about it. I think Deadpool and him are gonna hop around quite a bit. So they're gonna blur lines where they can make jokes about things and it doesn't do any hurt to the MCU as we know it. Whereas what they're gonna do with these Netflix series characters, because not only did they recast Charlie Cox as Daredevil, but they recasted John it's the same Punisher guy from the Punisher series. Now, I didn't watch all the only actually I only watched one of the Netflix Marvel shows, which was Punisher, which I loved so much. So much. Give me that. Just give me that. And he's recast again, and I guess he's going to make an appearance in this upcoming season of Daredevil. So that should be phenomenal. Phenomenal. But there's tons of things to look for. Those of you who are down on the phase 5 of Marvel right now, or the what they call the Kang Dynasty saga right now, you guys just strap in. We're gonna have a really good time. And if you don't understand what's going on, this is the perfect place to do it. Donnie's a listener every week. Donnie's been on the show. As of now, I'm just gonna keep rocking. This has been fantastic doing it by myself because I can just record when I have time. But when Donnie's been on the show, and Donnie is one of those guys who very much enjoys the MCU and the movies and things like that, but he doesn't understand a lot of it. So he comes to me to answer questions on it because I try and inform. If I don't know about it, I try and inform myself on it. Um, so if you guys have questions on things leading up with the MCU and Star Wars, like we're going to get into, hit the email. Hit the email. All right. Andor. Okay. Yes. Andor. Man, I cannot talk. All the things I've already talked about and I've kind of sucked their dick on. I cannot suck the dick harder for Andor. Um, Mandalorian has been the crown jewel of the Star Wars Disney Plus uh collection. Um, not many people liked Obi-Wan was good, and Boba Fett was okay until they brought in Mando. Was really just kind of okay, but I like those. I'm not a hater. I'm a fanboy of that stuff. I could sit back and judge them objectively. I'm not gonna judge this objectively. Andor is a fantastic series. Period. Hard stop. It is a good series. Now, if you don't have some general Star Wars knowledge, you may not understand it. You may still like Mandalorian better, but this is, I would say, an HBO series quality. It's really good. Fantastic. The way they've laid it out. I mean, there's been a big gripe about the scores besides Mandalorian for these other shows and how lackluster they are. But the score for Andor is fantastic. And if you guys don't know, I'll break it down because the timelines can be a little bit confusing, especially the way they're dropping the shows or whatever. This takes place, I would say, a few years before the events of Rogue One, which is directly butted up against the original Star Wars A New Hope. So it takes place in that time frame, and it follows one of the characters from Rogue One who helps steal the plans for the Death Star, Cassian Andor. He's there with Jyn Erso at the end when they die on the beach. It's so we know what happens to this character at the end. What we're getting is a character study of how he came, how from where he came from, he is here now helping the rebellion. And it is fantastic. The first 3 episodes that they dropped the first 3 episodes on one night, and it's kind of this contained story of him making a bad decision and killing a couple of people and trying to escape and trying to do this and do that. And then literally at the end of 3, he's if you've watched, he's being rescued or brought on board. What he doesn't know yet is with the rebellion. So it's very fantastic. And then episode 4 is just set up like a big heist of some sort that he's going to be helping out with. Very stacked odds. They've got uh that that good they've got that good down home like rebellion tight stuff. I love Rogue One. People who don't like Rogue One can go fuck off. It's a great film. I like it a lot. I like what they did with it. It goes outside the boundaries. It gives like a guerrilla warfare. Oh, we're gonna silence that real quick. Um, get like a guerrilla warfare kind of vibe to what this is. It's um I, I hate that. I hate that so much. Um shit. Shit. Anyways, very good show. Andor, fantastic. Um I better fucking text that. All right. So, I don't think there's much else to go over really. On a lot of these I've been reviewing some of the exciting shit that's been happening from the NFL, but there hasn't been too much exciting. Oh, that's right. Let's do this. Um, as of now, as of last week, what I'm gonna start doing, I'm gambling on I'm sports gambler. You guys know this. When Ty was on the show, we would make picks and things like that. So what I've started doing, and check the socials for this, because what I've been doing is the Trap Door to Hell parlay, and I'm really in on this. I think it's fun. It keeps me from betting 3 different games and then chasing losing a bunch of money, because I talked about how on week 1 that I lost all 3 bets and was down a lot. So I'm parlaying 3 bets only on Sundays. Only on Sunday. Those of you who check the socials and stuff like that saw that Sunday morning I posted one. Um and we went 2 for 3. We just barely missed. Miami and the Bills hit on I bet the over, they hit the under. And that was a trap game. I should have known it was a trap. I had my finger when I was placing that bet, when I was putting it in my bet slip, I had my finger. I was gonna bet Miami. I was gonna bet the Dolphins. And I was like, you know what? Let's just be safe and take the over because we think it's gonna be a shootout. Wrong move, apparently. So I'm going with a little bit of gutsy things here, and I'm gonna speak this. I'm gonna tell you guys the parlay here, and this will be available if you need to go reference. I'm gonna post the parlay onto Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. So on Sunday, we are taking the under in the Detroit Lions at Seattle Seahawks game. That under, as of this, or as of when I bet this, was set at 48. So score total under 48. We are taking as our second, 3 games, of course, as our second one, we are going to take the Arizona Cardinals money line minus 105 against the Carolina Panthers. I was surprised that the line was this close. I understand that Baker Mayfield makes this team fight, the Panthers, that is, but the Arizona Cardinals are one of those teams that do not lose these games. These games are the ones they win, right? They lose the bad teams all the time, but these are the ones they win. And then third and final is we have the New York Jets plus 3.5 points. Now, Zach Wilson is back. Game 1 of him being back. I think he's got a lot to prove. We've seen that the Pittsburgh Steelers cannot be super effective under Mitch Trubisky. They can run the ball good, and their defense isn't as good without TJ Watt. It just isn't. So I find this is going to be a close game, even if the Jets win, which I think I have my money over money line, but I had to take the points. I think if it's going to come down to it, it's going to be a very close game. This is going to be one of those games where you're surprised that the Jets are in it so deep. And that's the parlay right there. I think that's let's see. I might have screenshotted it and blocked out. Yeah. I don't know what that's. Let me see if I can find it real quick. 1 second. Nope, that's not the website. I'm going to see if I can find the total odds on that parlay for you guys, at least what I'm getting from when I placed it, because it's interesting to see. My bets slip. Oh, the parlay. What? Did I not place the bet? Oh, this would be rough. Oh, no, there it is. It doesn't show a total, but this is bet 25 to win 147. So if you're willing to ride with me, you're willing to go to lesser or higher, it's a good payout. It's a good payout. It's just a little drop in the bucket to make that bet. But we're gonna be riding that one all Sunday. I don't think I have anything else for you guys. This has been phenomenal. As always, I appreciate you guys riding with me, rocking with me. These one-man episodes, I think, have gone pretty well. People seem to like them. So, but I'm still okay with taking guests. So, if anybody wants to come on the show and wants to join in, I got TikTok saved up because I could show my TikToks. I did the TikToks by myself one week. It doesn't really hit unless I'm surprising somebody with them. So I'm not gonna play them on episodes where I'm by myself. But if somebody wants to come on and do an episode with me, more than welcome. We talk about anything. It doesn't have to just be this normal shit that I continue to talk about every week. And I'll show you some TikToks and it'll be fun. But at Trapdoor Pod on Twitter, Trapdoor to Hell on Facebook, Trapdoor to Hell YouTube. And if you have any questions and you want to email just directly without going through the social medias or anything like that, that's trapdoorpod@yahoo.com. Trapdoorpod@yahoo.com. I appreciate you guys listening for another week. Subscribe, like to the YouTube. If you are not subscribed to the audio versions, do that as well. Share to your friends, people who would love this. I love you guys out there for listening. And everybody have a good week.